Hello loves, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be breaking down the new moon in Capricorn that's happening January 2nd, 2022. And yeah, we have quite a bit to talk about, so we're going to jump right into it. We'll be doing a spell guide as well. So starting with the planetary positions, the sun will be in Capricorn, the moon will be in Capricorn, Mercury will be in Aquarius, Venus will be in Capricorn in retrograde, Mars will be in Sagittarius, Jupiter will be in Pisces, Saturn will be in Aquarius, Uranus will be in Taurus in retrograde, Neptune will be in Pisces, and Pluto will be in Capricorn. So we do have a Capricorn stellium that's happening. It will be happening throughout Capricorn season because the sun, Venus, and Pluto are in Capricorn, but with the addition of the new moon in Capricorn, it will be 4 in Capricorn. So there's definitely a lot of Capricorn energy. And there's a lot of stuff going on with the government as well. So we're gonna get into that. First and foremost, there is a sun and moon conjunction because they are in the same sign. So as far as in relation to our ego and our intuition, our emotional energy, there is that alignment that's happening there. There is a connection. My ancestor candle is just like going off right now. There's definitely a connection within our ancestral practice and our ancestral work that we need to do, especially generationally. But there is a foundational energy and focus that's happening. There is a look at our roots, a look at where we're grounded at, a look at what is going on with our lives, our stability, our home life, our business, our money. Literally everything that sustains our life is going to be in focus for this new moon in Capricorn. Because it is a new moon, there is this specific focus on moving the energy from the past year, from where 2021 ended and was, where it looked a little bit muddy or a little like it just ended a little bit like finally new year kind of vibe. Then the new moon in Capricorn is going to work to emotionally solidify, emotionally ground you in the energy. And that sun and moon conjunction, there's an alignment between the ego and our emotional energy, where we feel like, okay, we got to get it together. We know what we need to do. We can't lie to ourselves. We can't deceive ourselves. We can't make it seem like A is B and B is A. We need to make sure that we're in alignment. And because we need to make sure we're in that alignment, our egos and our emotions are going to be on the same page, for the same batting, for the same team. Mercury will also be in conjunction with Pluto because Mercury will be in Aquarius. There will be an amplification when it comes to collective revolutionary energies. You definitely might see a lot of popping off within the government, within the society. There might be some people just kind of like requesting or creating petitions or like kind of like protesting about, the state of the COVID, and wanting to see some relief, especially financially. That actually is something that came up in the cards. There is kind of like a essence and a part of the government where they want to be in a kind of waiting game kind of thing, but moving into the next year, it's kind of like, okay, starting fresh. What is the energy going to start like? Because Capricorn rules the government as well. There is a governmental energy that we need to be aware about. There is a little bit more grounding, and there is a little bit more stability that the government needs to provide to the people. And so that Mercury in conjunction to Pluto, you will see a little bit more verbal action, or there might be some news that comes out from the government, whether in the United States or around the world, where you see a little bit of like pressure on the government to act, to do something, to respond. This is also a great time to do any type of justice work, or to bring about change or manifest socially for the collective, not just yourself, but socially as well. This specific new moon is also a great time to work on manifesting a new job or something, or a higher pay or anything like that. Even though Venus is in retrograde, Venus in Capricorn in retrograde is really about restructuring the foundation where you have been before. So even though it's going to be a good amount of months that we're going through Venus in Capricorn retrograde, it's about like getting sorted where we have been having issues before. It's about getting stable where we have been having issues before. It's about looking at where we're at and saying, okay, we need to reevaluate this. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm not going to do. This is what I'm going to allow. This is long overdue. I should have done something about this already. So if it's something that where you're just like been waiting for a promotion, or we're waiting for something this is also a good time to set intention to see the door open for that. Think of it as like Mercury retrograde, where, you know, things are coming up from the past so you can sort them out. It's the same thing with Venus retrograde. You are trying to sort out your stability with that Venus and Capricorn, because Capricorn cares about stability more than anything else. You're trying to sort out your stability so you don't have to worry about anything else later. So you're not kind of like feeling like you're struggling, or you're like having a lot of like downs and ups and downs and ups. You want consistency. So manifesting consistency, manifesting higher pay, working, doing collective work, doing social justice work spiritually. Great time to do any of those type of spell works. Great time to do business spell works, like better business or promotional work. Great time for you to do some, now that Jupiter's in Pisces, for you to do some glamour magic to be seen the way that you want to be seen, whether it be like, oh, I'm such a great employee, or I'm attracting this promotion, I'm attracting like that success. I am only seen as by my boss as someone who is dependable, as someone who is who gets the job done. Like attracting in that sense is a great time to do that work. Mercury in conjunction to Pluto can definitely create some chaotic mental activity, especially with words. You definitely will see some truths coming out into the surface. You might be feeling a little bit more blunt during this time, and because it is Capricorn season, Capricorns, we tend to be very like direct, and so the feedback that we're giving each other might feel a little bit like harsh. It might have like that Saturn touch to it. Okay, it might feel a little bit like, oh damn, like be gentle. That's not what Capricorn season is about. There's not a lot of gentleness for that. So it's about being straightforward, being clear, being concise, saying it how it is. But there is a lot of transformation that will happen with our words with this Mercury in conjunction to Pluto. What you say during this day might actually completely change somebody's life or behavior, or you might see some endings or some transformations happening because of our words. So definitely keep that in mind. There's still a lot of government transformation that's happening because Pluto has been in transit in Capricorn for quite a while. So we're still seeing a lot of that shift happening. Now, the sun will also be in a trine with Uranus, and the moon will also be in a trine with Uranus. This is definitely this is fun, especially when it comes to the government stuff, but you might see some things popping off or some things manifesting a little bit faster than you would have thought they would have came in, especially if it's something that is long overdue. And again, you want to look at your pleasure, because Venus is still the planet of pleasure, the planet of love, pleasure, and money. So if there's something that's long overdue, if there's something that it's just kind of like, why isn't it hasn't been here, I haven't been able to do anything about this, I haven't been able to attain this, this is the time to kind of work for certain things to just kind of come through. If you're doing attraction work, certain things that you attract, you might attract things like it might have a very unexpected way of coming through, but there's still the energy of a little bit of chaos, okay? Especially because Uranus is in Taurus right now. There's a lot of chaos when it comes to the finances. You might see, if you have a business or you're working, you might see a higher increase of like sales, or you know how they say January is like a very slow time. You might see like a higher increase of activity, or people just kind of like, maybe they have their Christmas money or whatever it is, and now they're kind of shopping and buying stuff and kind of like going off in that way. There is this energy of there is an energy of independence with the Jupiter, with the sun trine Uranus. There is the energy of individuality. You might be focusing on your appearance. You might be focusing on how you are coming off towards other people. You might be focusing on working on like making yourself look either stronger or more grounded or different. You might decide to do something different with like your hair or your makeup or whatever it is. You might just kind of switch up your style because Uranus has that, that unexpected, like you just came into work and your makeup was different, or you're wearing more bold colors or something like saucy. So there is that sense of unexpectedness with our emotional energy and our ego. We might decide to switch it up. We might decide to change this up and kind of like, you know what, when we get into the new year and everybody's like doing resolutions, you might decide to do something like unexpected to you, but that's meant to evolve you in some way, because Uranus is all about evolution, growth, chaos, but that chaos leads you to a better place. So keep that in mind. If you've been feeling like an itch to do something different, That's where it's coming from. Venus will also be in a conjunction with Pluto for this new moon in Capricorn, because they're both in Capricorn. So when it comes to Venus in conjunction with Pluto, there's definitely an intensity, okay? Because they're both in Capricorn, there's a little bit more groundedness, but there is an intensity surrounding what it is that we want to do. There's a more passionate side to what it is that we want to do, what we're trying to achieve, and the transformations that we're going through when it comes to pleasure. If you're kind of doing a lot of sensual, sacral workings, you might feel a lot more, a lot of power buildup down there, or a lot of energy that you need to clear up. This is a great time to work the womb, to work that area, your sacral space, and relieve any tension that you might have been having for like a while now. This is a great time to heal anything that's been blocking you having pleasure during this time as well, especially when it comes to your body. So healing work to the body. This is a great time to work with the ancestors with this Venus in conjunction with Pluto. Your workings, all of your workings, any spell works that you're doing, include your ancestors. It just trust, include your mortals, include your dead. With Pluto sitting there, it's just like they need to be included, okay? Work your ancestral practices during this time. Make sure that you are including your muertos during this time. But there's definitely a lot of emotional energy. Being that they're both in Capricorn, there is a sense of control there, okay? So keep that in mind. There's an energy of control. There's an energy to having things in order and alignment. So if you've been having issues with love or romance or anything like that, there is a itch of wanting to just do a domination or something, or do like a or do a kind of control, or do a something where you are actively, you know, if you've been kind of giving someone or letting someone get away with certain things, now it's just kind of like you're not okay. You're like, no, you need to get it together. You should have gotten it together like a couple months ago. Why haven't you? So there's that energy of like, no, we're not going to tolerate that. You need to get it together, because you're affecting my pleasure, right? So there is that energy of like control, wanting that like domination, wanting things in order. So there is transformation that's happening within our pleasure as well, within our money, within our love energy. Some people might decide to, you know, propose or get engaged or have a higher commitment within the relationships, business, work, or government, or even health, if you're having anything popping off with health as well. Mars will be in a square with Neptune, and Saturn will also be in a square with Uranus. So Mars is square with Neptune. There's definitely a lot happening spiritually. I would definitely double think the spell work that you're trying to do. Reason being is because Mars in a square with Neptune, if you're feeling like doing something impulsively, make sure you're thinking about everything that you're using, so it's something that's not like necessarily backfire on you. You want to make sure that your spell work, that you're working with the water energies, especially Neptune, because that's the ocean energies. That's that subconscious mind, that spirituality, okay? So when it comes to your workings, where you're trying to put all of your fire and intention to, think about it. Think about it first. Make sure you're plotting it out first, okay? Mars is in Sagittarius right now, so you should be, whatever spell work you're doing or practice that you're doing, you should be using the right things. You should be working with the right elements. You should be working with the right herbs. You should be picking, you know, the properties correctly. Make sure you're doing your due diligence before you just pop off and be like, I'm just gonna add some pepper and I'm just gonna because it might blow up in your face a little bit, okay? With the Mars square Neptune, you don't want things to kind of like feel more chaotic, especially your spell work. You don't want it to be chaotic. You want it to be organized. You want it to plan out the day, plan out what you're doing, so that way, you know, you're not getting lost in the sauce, okay? And Saturn, the square with Uranus, is definitely bringing that generational transformation that we're all collectively going through during this time, which is why you're seeing a lot of karma coming through for the collective energies, why we're all karmically going and elevating ourselves in different ways. Now, when it comes to the cards, we have the Nine of Wands, the Tower, the Eight of Pentacles. There is a focus on work. There's a focus on healing. Okay, we're coming off going into this new year very, very like wounded, very like, oh my God, I went through a lot. It was a hot mess. Like literally the end of the year almost took my life. Like it's coming off as it's a very sensitive time. But there's still, spirit is like, okay, but you still need to get to work. You still got to do the work. You still need to get to work. There's no excuses. You got to go. You got to go. You got to go. So there is that kind of unexpectedness that we talked about earlier, that's happening. There is kind of like, if you've just been kind of sitting it out and just kind of like sitting on the funkiness of 2021, how it's been ending, and are still feeling like a little wounded, a little vulnerable, a little sensitive, especially now that Jupiter is in Pisces. If you're just kind of like feeling like, oh, let me just take a minute. You're gonna feel like that intense energy coming through from that Capricorn, that cardinal energy. Do not forget, we're in a cardinal season. Cardinal season meaning cardinal energies, meaning action-based, action-oriented. January Capricorn energy is very action-oriented. December Capricorn energy is very planny, like you're planning stuff out. But once it goes into January, it's very like, okay, we planned, now we can go. Okay, we took the time to plan, so now we can go. So there's this energy of kind of like, okay, you can't just sit on your butt like the whole time. You can't just do that. You can't just waste time. Okay, you need to do something about it. You need to put in your time. You need to put in the work in order for you to start seeing results. And so what their energy is shifting, and what Spirit is saying is that, especially because the rest of it is the Seven of Cups, the Emperor, the Four of Wands, and the Lover's card. You will see a lot of what you manifest in the beginning of the year will have an impact. If you work with the energies during January, you will see results coming in, not only in Aries season, but also in Gemini season. You will see the shift. You will be able to see the results coming through of your manifestations, of your intentions. Okay, there's a more lightheartedness. There's some weddings, some proposals that are coming up, some decisions that are being made during this time that will have a larger impact on later within the year. But there is this focus here, right in the middle of the reading. It's like the Seven of Cups. What do you want? What do you want? If you didn't use the December energies to plan out what it is that you're working with, what do you want? What do you want for the new year? You need to look at it. You need to look at all of these cups and choose what you're directing your energy towards, what the intention is going to look like, because that's where, when it starts to shift, when we move into the new astrological year, that's where you're going to see that shifting. That's where you're going to see that those energies coming through and coming in. Okay. We also have, let me pick them up. We have time to replenish, because this is a time where we are replenishing our energies. We're like healing from like the past year. We have spiritual quests and apply past lessons, because Spirit is in motion. One of the things that I said in the Jupiter and Pisces video is that Spirit's going to be very, very active during this year, because Jupiter is in Pisces. Pisces rules spirituality, so there will be a lot of spiritual activity, especially with the water spirits, our ancestors and everything. There's going to be a lot, and so there is this focus on spirituality and your spiritual evolution and elevation, and so you have to kind of take it upon yourself to do the work, so spiritually, so that you can see the results that you want to see. Okay, and apply past lessons. What is it again? Capricorn, Saturn, it literally rules lessons. So what is it from the past that you're not going to tolerate, that you're not going to do, that you're not going to give your energy, your time to? What is it that you're not going to do moving forward? Okay, what is it? Make that decision. Okay, we also have Coffin, Key, Tower, and Clover. Okay, so these, starting off with this, there's definitely a lot happening when it comes to the government. That's like when I read the book for this, because for this deck you definitely like have to read the book, because it explains a little bit, it dives into the meanings for this one. So I this is one of my favorite decks. But for this, there is a focus on the government. You might see a little bit of a breakthrough with planning out for like another stimulus to come through, because there are some people who are going to be passing, and there are some kind of endings that are happening as well. There are some transitions that are happening as well. There is kind of like this energy of leaving what has passed, what have died, like just leaving it at peace, leaving it and moving forward. What Spirit is really saying with this is that all of the transformations, all of the things that you have gone through is ultimately opening the door for more. You just have to stay consistent. And right now that's where that is looking like for the government. All the institutions and the structures for business, for any type of financial institutions, the banks, the government, they're all going to be going through a really big transition. And there's this energy of luck with the Clover coming in, where you're going to see a breakthrough coming in, whether it be financially, romantically. You're going to see a breakthrough, and you're going to see things kind of opening up a little bit more. So just be patient. Bottom of the deck, we literally have the ancestors, the page of swords. We need to get clear with our heads, our emotional energy. Again, temperance also at the bottom right there. There is that focus of making sure you're using that Mars and Sag energy for your benefit. This is why we're also getting that luck energy there. You can work with it and use it for your benefit, but you can also miss an opportunity. So make sure you're using this new moon accordingly. Plan everything out ahead of time. This is a great time to do grounding work, great time to be working with crystals, great time to be working with your ancestors, great time to be doing manifestations for money, business, and to elevate and ground yourself for the next upcoming year. Okay, so those are the messages that I'm getting, y'all. I will definitely see you loves in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here, and also don't forget to check out the Patreon, and don't forget to, or if you want to be a channel member, the link would be down below. I will definitely see you loves in the next video. I love you guys so much. Thank you for all of the love and support, and yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.